Verbally Effective with Ina Esco is an interview-style podcast that intersects art, culture, politics, and entertainment with a Memphis focus. Each week, I'm joined by a featured guest with roots in Memphis. Verbally Effective delves into each guest's personal journey to uncover the incredible stories fueling their purpose, the highs and lows of their pursuits, and how through their passion, they are moving the culture forward. Greetings, and welcome to another edition of the Verbally Effective Podcast. I'm your host, your double E, Ina Esco. This is the pod that intersects art, culture, politics, entertainment with a Memphis focus. Today, I have the host of the Anthony Sain Show with Bluff City Media in the building, and also the founder of Asylum Media Group, Anthony Sain. What's up, Mr. Sain?
Hey, what's going on? It's good to be here.
Yes, it's good to have you, Mr. Sports Guru.
I guess.
Guess?
Sports gets on my nerves, though. Like, I do a lot of other stuff just to unwind from something other people use as a method of unwinding. Sports kind of stresses me out.
It stresses you out, but you love it.
Yes. Sometimes. Yeah.
I know you do, because you're so passionate.
Yeah, I'm
when
good
talking
at,
about it.
I've been in this independent journalism game for about 10 years.
Okay.
And I'm good at it, but it really gets on my nerves. Like it's just so many politics to it, and
Memphis, that can be really irritating.
Memphis is a strange media market.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When it comes down to everything, and especially with sports for sure. Because see, now you ain't got me started. You ain't triggered me now.
Okay. It's okay. Go on, get it out.
Because this is one of those cities where we're 60-something% black, but the actual representation as far as media does not resemble that
I
at
agree.
all. And it's got a lot better over the last 5 years. You see a lot of black news people for sure. You got guys like Colin Cody, Avery Braxton, Doc Holliday. Those guys are the lead anchors as far as sports are concerned. But radio still has a long ways to go. Print journalism definitely has come a long way, but still has a far ways to go. But it's not just the people in positions, it's still just the perception. You know what I mean? You turn on stations like ESPN, and it's almost like you have to be a former athlete just for your voice to, just for your opinion to even matter. But like any Joe Schmo pencil pusher can have an opinion on all these networks, and even locally, you know what I mean? You see those type of things. But like I said, those things get frustrating, and just sometimes just sports in general can just stress me out sometimes, because I kind of want to go back to just watching stuff strictly as a fan, but I'm too far deep.
Yeah, you're too invested.
I'm too far gone now, so I can't just speak as a fan anymore.
You are. Anthony Sain, what part of Memphis are you originally from?
Well, I grew up in South Memphis, 38106 Longview Heights area.
Okay.
We moved away from there my summer going into the 9th grade. I went to, most kids have this thing where they transition from elementary to middle school or junior high, then they do that, and then they're the big dogs at the middle school, then they start over and they're freshmen. I didn't have that experience at all. Like I graduated elementary in 6th grade, then I went to Bellevue Junior High, right? No, Bellevue, junior high, which was a 6th through 9th grade school at the time. I left there in 8th grade, then had to start back over again as a 9th grader at Wooddale High School. We moved from South Memphis to East Memphis.
It's a lot of transition.
Right. So basically, I never got my middle school big dog experience. So I went from only true graduation I had was high school.
Did you get that big dog experience in high school?
Yeah, I mean, of course I graduated because I was a senior, but I never. I was a pretty funny kid in school, but I don't want to say I probably had more friends than I probably thought I did, but I never really was the social person who was like desiring to have many friends or whatever. So like I haven't gone to any of our reunions and
What was the young Anthony Sain passionate about?
Man, I don't know. Like I used to want to be I used to be big into, like, I still am big into like superhero stuff, comic book stuff. And I wanted to be an animator because I had like ideas for comic books, and I would sketch stuff, I would draw stuff. And I was just knowing that I was going to be working in that field.
So you're an artist.
Yeah, I used to be. I can't draw nothing. Attention.
No. Once an artist, always an artist.
I can't do it. Like I could draw better than your normal person can, but I can't do, no. Like I can't, I don't, if I tried it now, I probably could do something, but it wouldn't look like much.
Oh, wow.
To the average person, I may say, okay, this is dope, but I'm like, nah, I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. So after you graduated high school, what did Anthony
went to college for a year.
Where did you go?
University of Memphis. Realized college was not for me.
And why is that?
What you mean?
Well, how did you realize that? What happened?
I'm a real lazy person. No, I'm not lazy. I'm a slacker. I'm a real underachiever.
Okay.
Like my teachers in high school used to get angry with me because they knew I wouldn't put forth any effort. Mm-hmm. I would do just enough effort to like keep them off of me, or just to get like a C or a B minus, or because one whole 6 weeks. This back when we had 6 weeks back then. One whole 6 weeks, I like tanked everything and had straight Fs for the 6 weeks, and then I like brought all those grades back up to like A's, B's, and maybe 1 C at the end of the school year. And my teacher was like, Anthony, you're the most frustrated student I've ever seen. And they said that, like, you know how all the kids would do like ACT workshops and all that type of stuff? I didn't do any of those, right? But I took the ACT one time,
scored high,
and got like a 22 or something.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. And like my teacher was like, Anthony, you are the most frustrated kid I've ever seen in my life.
But you know what? That says a lot, though. That says that maybe, you know, school just didn't keep your attention.
Yeah. I should have been like at some other type of school. Like regular school was like, it's so crazy. And it's like the stuff that we learn in school. And my son's mom gets so mad at me because it's like, I'm not going to say I don't care about education, but I'm like, you a smart kid. You'll get through it. It's like,
you're more easygoing.
Yeah, man, I don't care, man.
How
like,
old is your son?
He's 10. And she's
a
total
10-year-old
opposite.
too.
Yeah, she's a total opposite of me when it comes down to that type of stuff. But it's like, then going to college, like, yeah, I got too much free time. Y'all really making the optional run I get up and go and out? Yeah, I'm not doing it.
Wow.
So after a year, I knew it was over for that. So I just been, working, just regular jobs and just trying to find my niche here and there. And, it's been a pretty fun ride.
And journalism, media seems to be something you're very passionate about. How did you jump into that industry?
Crazy. I always been a big, local sports fan or whatever. And there was this publication at the time called Memphis Roar. It was an independent publication. They're now 24/7 Sports. Memphis Tigers 24/7 Sports, who they are now. And at the time, Josh Pastner was the coach at Memphis, and he got his first big class that had a lot of incoming local kids. It was a high-ranking class, and it had a lot of local kids on it too. Joe Jackson, Tariq Black, all these different kids on that class. Chris Crawford, all them on there. And the Bluff City Classic, it was just an intersection of a lot of stuff happening at one time. The Bluff City Classic, which was a classic summer pro-am league here in Memphis, it made its re-debut that particular summer as well. And Coach Pastner let the local players, let the guys on the team play. So you had the Grizzlies in town, so there were some Grizzly players playing in it. You had some local guys who went to other colleges, they were playing in it. Some Memphis guys who went to the NBA, they were playing in it. Penny Hardaway is always a part of it in some type of faction. And then you had this incoming super hyped up class of Tigers that were coming at the same time. So the Bluff City Classic that year was boom. Like it was Grizzly players, NBA players, like I said, returning legends, local legends, and this big incoming class of Tiger boys that you could see for the first time. So I went to the Classic and I reached out to the guy who was over that publication. I was like, hey, I'm going there. I don't know why I asked this, man. I don't know what I was expecting him to say, you know what I mean? But I said, I'm going. If you need anything, I'll be there. And he was like, oh, yeah, cool, man. Here's to log in to my Twitter account because he lives somewhere else. He was like, man, here's to log in to my Twitter account. Go and just tweet what you see. I was like, I can curse.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, man, I didn't know you meant like to go do some work. You know what I mean? I was like, you actually did. Like, I would expect, like, that's a lot of control. Like, log into my Twitter account, I could have just went rogue. You know what I mean? Changed the password, everything on. But he gave me full access to his company's Twitter account, and I was tweeting stuff out. People were interacting with me, and they were following that account and following my personal account because he would say, make sure you tell them your personal account so they'll follow you too. And I was like, I'm kind of good at this, you know what I mean?
Okay, so yeah.
And that's led to 10 years of playing around on Twitter and
wow, just
covering stuff, writing. I started writing for the Tri-State Defender, and I think that was the biggest influence on anything I did career-wise because I've always been able to write because even when I was in high school slacking, I was good at like at storytelling and like or lying or
coming up with some stories.
Good at coming up with stories, right?
Okay.
And I was into like want to make comic books, so I could come up with ideas and I could write out stories. I would write short stories. I would write play ideas, skits, all this type of stuff. Like this what I'd be doing in class instead of doing actual work. So the writing part, I could write pretty good. But I started writing for Tri-State Defender volunteer, and in that time, with them editing my work, not only were they editing my work, they were showing me how to write.
Yeah.
And that time there with the people there, shout out to Burnell Smith, who passed away a few years ago, and Dr. K, Dr. Janaku, he they literally took me by the hand and showed me how to be a writer, like how to write for a newspaper. Mm-hmm. And this is not what I went to school for. I dropped out of college in a year, you know what I mean?
You told me.
So I had no training in this, and these two black men took me by the hand, and I'm getting most of the thing about it. They took me by the hand and they helped me with that to fit in, you know what I mean? And Kelly Evans is another person who also used to write for Tri-State Defender. And she would, Kelly went on to write for ESPN, The Undefeated. I'm losing my breath, I done got old. But
you are so serious, Mr.
Kelly worked for The Undefeated, ESPN, right? Mm-hmm. And Kelly would call me sometimes and be like, Anthony, you're super good at like the storytelling part of an introduction. I need you to help me write this story. And I was like, man, I came a long way, because she was the one that actually got me the gig at the Tri-State Defender. And I came in as an amateur, and now I have a professional that I'm helping her do something. But like I said, Tri-State Defender, shout out to them, if not the oldest, longest running black publication. She's one of them. I mean, they're one of them. So shout out to them. Like I said, they were a huge part of
that. Was the beginning.
Yeah, as far as like people really putting hands on me. And and with the Asylum Media Group, which is my mentoring organization, that's a big part of why I started it. Like, and that didn't really come to me till just then when you asked me to. Like, that's kind of in me. That's something they put in me. And I always want to help out the next generation. And like I said, Asylum Media Group is a group of young people that I mentor that are all showing some type of interest and want to get into journalism, but more so content creating, sports content creating. Because I think what we call like sports journalism is evolving. It is like becoming totally different. Like you're a podcaster. Like the things that used to cause, because I remember when I first started the desire to get into like broadcasting side, like doing radio, I would have to pay for AM radio time on a ragged ass radio station.
Man, these folks are paying for these shows. Right.
And I was doing this. If you're doing it now, like something wrong with you. You need to get something.
They are doing it.
You're getting finessed. You're getting finessed in 2000, because I was getting finessed in 2015. So I know you're getting finessed in 2024.
On AM radio.
Yeah. Right. So I know you're getting finessed. So if you're under the sound of my voice, burn that contract immediately. You were getting finessed.
I ain't even on contract.
Right. Burn whatever handshake. Tell them folks, no, you got me effed up.
Was it hard for you to get into on that AM station?
Let me finish that story. No, not really, because they're taking your money. Like, no, they gonna turn your money down.
That was a transaction.
Right, they're not gonna turn your money down. So back then, we were paying for AM radio just to get a quality podcast recording.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy times were now. When now you can spend a couple $100s and go buy some equipment and get on StreamYard, and now you got stuff to look like ESPN. You know what I mean? Like, for real. So, and like I said, it's so much easier now. Like I said, if you are paying some radio station for time,
it's happening.
Yeah. Text me, DM me. I would show you the way to not get finessed.
Get a part of Asylum Media Group.
Right, exactly. Well, it's for younger people. It's for, my students are anywhere from 16 to, I think, 25.
So you're training up the next generation of journalists and media personalities.
And just letting them know that it's a lot easier than what they think, and just kind of showing them like areas where they don't have to mess up in. They say that people say the experience is the best teacher. I think that's stupid. Find somebody that already went through the nonsense so you don't have to go through the nonsense. That's the type of teacher I want. I don't want to have to go through what you went through. Just tell me how to avoid going through what you went through.
Okay.
And I try to do that with them. And they're really doing great. All of them are doing something, either some type of podcast. Some of them are working for actual publications. Whether that's volunteer internship or paid, all of them are doing pretty much something in their craft. And I'm just working on trying to get them like radio interviews, radio spots. Some of them are writing for different publications. And it's just exciting to see these young people that I met pretty much as strangers who just had bright eyes and want to get into the field. It's just good to see them actually doing things.
And I think it's amazing that you're giving back in that capacity, because there are, like as you mentioned at the start of the podcast, getting into this industry at a certain level can be frustrating.
And let me cut you off one more time. This is the host of me cutting you off. I'm sorry.
I see.
One more thing. Like,
go ahead.
Is there like we talk about nepotism, right? Like, nepotism seems to only be a problem when it comes down to minorities, or it comes down to,
correct.
We're not minorities, because that's another conversation. All right, but when it comes down to black people, that's when it seems to be a problem with nepotism. When you see people getting doors left open for people all the time, especially in journalism, especially in this local market, you see a lot of, back scratching going on. So I'm the one who's saying, hey, I'm gonna use my connections to get y'all a leg up. You know what I mean? Because we see it with everybody else, so much. But I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Look, I already see the host in you. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's
but I wanted to say that at the start of the show, you mentioned the Memphis dynamic with media, how we don't see many of us in these spaces. And you've been able to thrive. You're giving back with Asylum Media Group. What do you think is the barriers? What's the problem? Is it gatekeepers?
For sure. It's the South.
The South.
You could throw that blanket on some of everything. Like it's
a small group. It is a very small, what do they say, club to be in. Because I will tell you, I started radio my senior year at Lamont in college. This is a long time ago. And they don't fool with a lot of people. Like you either in or you're out.
And even with us, we gatekeep. So yeah. Like we have fear of the next person coming in and replacing me. Like, no, you can't replace me. You can just push me up. You can push me up and out to something bigger. You can't replace me because you're not better than me. Like that's the attitude we don't have about stuff. Like I'm not worried. I'm not insecure about anybody. And if you're better than me, you're just better than me. Like it's just kind of how it is. Yeah. Like we kind of do that on our own a lot. And what's the reason for that? That's all debatable as well. But like I said, in this city, man, it's just weird politics. Like you hear these things like, because I did radio, like paid radio, right? Like it's a full-time job. I'm not going to say the station, but I work for a station. And the thing they do is, this is the thing they
Google
do.
You.
Right, yeah, exactly. But this is the thing that they do, right? Like, radio, like sponsorships and advertising are what keep those things on.
Oh, that's the bottom line.
And then the thing is, the things that they use to track those numbers, it doesn't work the way people would assume it works. Like, it's not like your car radio is hooked up to some system where they know that your car is driving to South Memphis. It's listening to this radio station. They have actual devices that aren't even in the city. They're all in
Nielsen.
Right, but these devices are all outside of the actual Memphis area. They put these devices 20, 30 years ago where they thought money was. And those places aren't the same anymore. It's
not a true depiction.
Right, and it's money all over the city of Memphis, but they put them in certain areas where they think the money is. And where the money is sometimes, back then, it's a different mentality of people of where the money is now, right? So what happens is you're trying to sell advertising to companies that cater to those people who had money 30 years ago. That are in areas that aren't diverse at all, right? So, and then what these radio stations will say is, okay, well, we can't sell you or we can't sell your product. And my response has always been, of course you can't. You're not equipped to. Hire some people in your sales team that can market today and not 40 years ago. Yeah. When y'all put these towers up to track numbers.
What do you say to the person that wants a platform, they wants the exposure, and they're paying to be on some of these stations right now? I know you told them to call you at Asylum Media Group,
right,
but they need the exposure, and they feel, okay, I got it in my budget to pay this particular media group such and such every month, right? Because that's what's going on.
Right, yeah, they're getting for this. Like that's what's happening, and I'm glad we had this conversation because what's going on is they're using you to subsidize the marketing that they can't do because radio is a dying dinosaur. Like you can be a talented individual and get sponsors off of your Twitter page, off of your YouTube page. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't need this mega conglomerate radio station to do anything. And companies are going away from the radio station and saying, okay, instead of me spending $5,000 a month over here, I'll give this person with this hot Twitter page $500 a month, and I'll get even more interaction because it's real time interaction. It's time with people who actually are listening to my show. That's another thing with radio too. If they're putting these towers in the suburbs, the inner city market numbers don't even count. Like those you listen to the radio, it's like they don't even know you're listening to it. But if you're doing it over the internet, I can give you exactly
real data.
Yeah, it's real data of everybody, not just people who live in rich neighborhoods. You know what I mean? So I would tell people, man, like I said, there's so much technology that allows. Like I use StreamYard, right?
I have StreamYard. I need to be using it though.
StreamYard's got this thing now where, like, let's say we're on the internet thing, right? And my internet is jacked up, but yours is fine. It's gonna record actual video to your hard drive, and then take that video and send that to the server. So you get, even if it's a jacked up internet signal, you're still gonna get a fire.
Going live.
Yeah. Now the live is gonna be jacked up,
right? But the
recorded version is gonna be tight. It's gonna be crystal clear.
I like StreamYard. It's a good product.
And then like it gives you a transcript. Like it'll give you the audio, the video, and the typed out transcript of everything y'all said. Like they do that automatically.
Yeah, StreamYard. They're A1. I suggest that to all the podcasters that I work with. But today we have podcasting where you don't have to go to traditional radio stations. At all.
If you got a following, you can create your own buzz. You got your own buzz.
But I will say this,
you don't have
Anthony,
to prove to anybody. You could just be with who you say you are.
I will say this, Anthony. I just got back at iHeartRadio October of last year, and we just did a meeting with programming, and we looked at the numbers, and maybe we were looking at numbers, what you said, from the Nielsen devices in the rich neighborhoods, but we looked at social media as well, and what it told us. Of course, because of the wattage of the towers that iHeart has, it's hundreds of thousands, right? Yeah, sure. So we just get more reach, more coverage. Radio is still definitely in business. But Memphis market, they love their personalities now.
Oh, yeah, it's a personality-driven industry.
Very much so. Sure. Very much so. So I see that your personality is getting a lot of buzz around.
Yeah, I'm kind of crazy. I see what I got to say.
I watched a few of your YouTubes, but I mean, who wants a personality that's all dry and like everyone else? I like the creativity. I like the spontaneity. Right. Yeah. Because
I know I offend the money, but I just have to reach the other money. Like, or just reach the other people. Like I said, if this doesn't, I do what I do doing this, you know what I mean? But like if it doesn't get to the point where I'm so and so, I don't really care because I enjoy doing it. Like I said, it does stress me out though.
Yeah. But you're with Bluff City Media, right? So
shout out to them.
Yeah. Shout out to Bluff City Media. Someone else that I'm good friends with at Bluff City Media is Parrish Sharkey.
Yeah,
I know you know Parrish.
Oh yeah. Let me get my stuff out real quick too. I'm glad you said it. Because y'all be having these little like podcaster
and why don't
conventions.
You come?
I've never been invited to any of these.
Okay, now that I have your number,
and I'm sitting up here thinking I'm champagne potty out here, and y'all ain't invite me to nothing. I'm like,
Mr. Sain
I guess I ain't the big dog I thought I was.
Mr. Sain wanted a personal invitation.
I ain't got an invitation for nobody. I saw the flyer for you and my boy. I can't think of his name.
Which one? Dominic?
Yes. I make fun of his voice because his voice is incredible.
The GOAT.
Yeah, that
Dominic
man's voice
Lawson?
is. Bro, I need you to do some what's it called? Some read-offs. No, what's it called? Voiceovers for something.
Oh, he does a lot of voiceover work.
Voice is incredible.
But you know what? We're having a pod box.
No, it's too late.
Event. Yes, you are.
I would have had to know well before.
June 22nd.
Too close.
You're coming.
No, I feel like this is send me the invite. I don't do those.
But let's back up. Let's go into Bluff City Media. How did you get the gig at Bluff City Media? And tell me all about their inner workings. I know Parrish works there. I think I've talked to someone in leadership there when I was planning the first podcast festival we had. But some of the guys, I think they were out of town for football or something like that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me about your relationship with Bluff City Media.
Man. She ain't
is that what really happened?
That's not what happened at all. No, I knew those guys. Like, it's the three guys who are the owners of that. I've known them.
Yes, I talked to a couple of them.
Yeah, I've known them just over the years. And the guy that I do spend the most time with is Kenny Stubblefield, who's the producer of my show, and he's kind of like the creative director, like, all that type of stuff. He does all the recording, editing, all that. But he's a close friend of mine that I had back when I was working with youth nonprofits, working with kids in the city. He worked for an organization, I worked for another one, but we shared the same building. And we just kind of built a friendship and a brotherhood ever since then. And when he was doing what he was doing, I would keep an eye on it. And I kind of really want any part of any of this. I was just kind of fine being, Clark Kent or Peter Parker. I was fine just being the person outside of the costume of media, right?
Yeah.
I was not being the superhero, just being, the regular guy, Bruce Wayne or whatever. But I just kind of kept an eye on what they were doing. And we sat down and had lunch. He was like, man, let's do something that makes sense. Like, the city kind of needs you. Because after I got let go of the radio station because of the nonsense they were talking about, I was like, man, I'm done with all this. Like, I could just be on Twitter and be all right.
Do your thing.
Yeah, but he got me off the bench, and it's been a great opportunity, great relationship with them. They're very forward thinking as far as the way they go about doing things. They're very hate to say liberal, because when you say liberal, they get off in the political stuff, but they don't think like dummies. Just say that. Now, take that as how you want to take it. Yeah, it's just like they don't come to me about stuff I say or how I feel about stuff. I get my takes off, and they don't get into any of it. Now, if it's something that's just kind of okay, because he said to me sometimes, okay, do you want to say this because you actually feel that way, or you just looking for a reaction? Because if you just looking for a reaction, why? I said, okay, you're right, because I'm not that type of person anyway. So so I just love the relationship I have with them. I'm not an employee of them, so to speak. It's a contracted situation, subcontracted situation.
They want the personality of
like I said,
Sain.
they look to sell me and not.
Oh yeah, and that's a good relationship you got going on, because a lot of these companies, these media groups, they got the chains on you, baby. Like you're restricted. You know you can't push boundaries. Yeah,
and they allow me to do what I want to do. And when it comes down to how I'm able to negotiate sponsorships, I've never been in a situation that works the way they work. And it's power to the
So they go and get your sponsorships.
It can go either way.
Okay, so you can
but if I get my own, it's a totally different incentive than if they bring it to the table. And I've never seen. I'll tell you off the air what it is, but I've never seen this type of incentive for bringing your own people to the table. Most people don't care. Like if you get them or they get them, there's no. And then a lot of places like we pay you what we pay you, and you have nothing to do with sponsorship at all. Right. You just get this check we give you. But they say, hey, if you bringing this to the table,
that's where the money is.
Yeah, that's where the money is. Yeah. That's how so many people. Because there are companies, there are radio stations that are. This is another thing too. Man, I'm glad I thought about this. I'm trying to set the captives free today.
Come on.
I'm trying to set the captives free.
Set them free.
If you are paying for AM radio time on a radio station, you're paying them for that airtime. If that company is running commercials during your show, they're making money off of your show.
Oh yeah.
If you're paying for time on a radio station, you need to tell them people, no, you won't play any commercials unless they're commercials I bring to the table. Right. That should be the agreement. It don't work that way. Yeah. They're gonna tell you.
Or if they do run commercials, I need a cut.
I need a cut of it. Yeah. Because they're gonna whether your show is actually making that money or not. They're running commercials on your time.
Let me tell you something. People just don't know. People just want. It's a lot of people that just want the exposure to be on the platform, and they'll take what you give them.
Because basically, you're a sponsor. Like if you're paying for radio time, you are a sponsor of your own show. You're paying what they would charge companies for their time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so tell me about the Anthony Sain Show. How did this come about? What is the premise? Who do you talk to?
When I started the show, I told Kenny and the guys at Bluff City Media that I wanted the show to be my name, because I've been a part of stuff that was a pre-existing something, and this I was like, no, if this is gonna be my show, it's gonna be my show. Like it's gonna be no lack of understanding what this is, right? Because I've been people's co-hosts, and I've kind of had to kind of defer who I am or what I want to talk about. I'm like, nah, this is gonna be me the way I want it to be done. So that's how we did that. I basically do the show. We start off just a regular setup for the show, and I have a featured guest every show. Paris is kind of like the
stand-in.
No, Paris is kind of like my what's the word I'm trying to say? Like not Johnny Carson, but the other dude. Ed McMahon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of like my Ed McMahon.
Okay, so Parrish is on your show every episode?
Every Wednesday he is.
Okay, gotcha.
But every Thursday I'll have another featured guest. But my featured guest, but on Wednesday when it's me and Parrish, it's me and Parrish almost the whole show. But when I have a featured guest, I've had different guests, like different people in Memphis. I had Paul Young on my show. I'm really not thinking right now.
Yeah, but Ina Esco ain't been on that joint.
But when you ready to come in and talk sports, we'll do that.
I'm ready.
All right, we'll make that happen.
And we about to get into it now.
Yeah, but like I said, I had a lot of great guests, different media members in the city of Memphis. Just super deep roster of people I've had on the show. It's a very entertaining show, and I try to look at stuff from a real perspective. Like I said, because I'm not trying to cater to some company who's paying for this ad. Like it's just me getting my stuff off. You know what I mean? Like I'm not under the jurisdiction of anybody's real opinion. So I tell what I really feel and not what I feel like is the political thing to say or whatever. But
okay,
come on, go ahead.
And it's such a big political year. It's an election year, so you'll see a lot of antics going on
sure.
in sports and entertainment, everywhere, right?
You better believe it.
So let's jump into a few topics that I want to discuss with you. Of course, WNBA is what's hot right now. Do you agree?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's really good to see. I can't say that I've been a long-time fan of the WNBA. I have not. If you go back and dig through my old tweets, if you go back and listen to some old podcasts or radio archives,
you were talking bad about the WNBA.
I've got my shit off about the WNBA.
What could you say bad about the WNBA?
And a lot of stuff that I said back then, I kind of still feel that way now. And like the whole discussions about. Now, if you want to have a discussion about should the women make more money, yes, I would 10 toes down, stand beside you and say they should make more. But the discussions of should they make as much as the man is crazy. Like let's just stop talking about it. That's just not how that works.
Let's stay there for a minute because when you look at the actual numbers, like of what the men make and what the women make, they not even like in a 10 percentile.
Right, the percentage is wrong. The percentage is trash. Like the women should make a bigger percentage of what the overall revenue is for the WNBA. Like the fact that those ladies are, even though they're playing part-time basketball, like they're playing like for 3 months, even though they're doing that, the amount of the wage they're making is insane, all things considered. But what I've always said, ever since I've actually cared about it, is that the WNBA being treated as a summer league when it's a summer league. They leave the NCAA from college and go right into it. That whole dynamic has always made people not take it serious because they're looking at it as off-season NBA basketball.
Why is it set up like that? To not interfere with another sport?
Right. It's to not interfere with the ladies who want to go make money in other countries, in other leagues.
That's where the real money.
Where they get their real money. So it's like the WNBA would not get any stars if they had it at the same time as the men. But that's why I've always felt like the NBA should make that investment to take care of those ladies where they don't have to do that. Yeah. So they can have those games going on during the same time. NBA is November to May, so they don't need to do that. But starting in January after Christmas and running from January through March. So you can play off the heat of the NBA season. The meat of the NBA season can line up with the entire WNBA season. And you can do double headers in some of these markets. You can do TV double headers, you know what I mean, things like that, that they can benefit off of each other. But right now, you're treating it like second-rate basketball. So I think that's always going to be a dilemma. But you know they have this league called Unrivaled.
No, what is Unrivaled? What is Unrivaled? What is Unrivaled?
Breanna Stewart and some other lady, I can't remember her name for nothing. They're starting their own 3-on-3 basketball.
Like a G League for the ladies?
No, kind of like with Ice Cube's Big Three.
Oh, okay.
So it's 3-on-3 basketball.
Okay.
I guess it's half court.
Okay.
But all the ladies have equity in the company.
Wow.
Everybody who plays is a co-owner of the company, basically.
That's going to be even more division with the ladies, though.
It's going to be more money in their pocket. Always going to be more.
Can they play both?
Because it's just going to be the cream of the crop playing in that league. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Unrivaled.
And they play in January. They start this January.
Really?
Yeah. They pulled it off that quick. Yeah, go look it up. Like they about to start that now. They're starting in January.
Wow. Okay. Other than Unrivaled, my question was going to be: do you see things shifting with the onslaught of your Caitlin Clark with Angel Reese? What do you think about Caitlin Clark? Give me 3 words.
She's phenomenal, generational, and phenomenal, generational, and. This is gonna be a negative word. I just can't think of which word I want to use.
You better not say Pat McAfee word.
No, it's gonna be a negative word. Is scapegoat what I'm looking for? I don't know.
Sacrificial lamb,
something like that. But like, here's the thing with that whole thing. I think she's a phenomenal player, and she came in during a perfect storm of time. You know what I mean? Where because I had people say, well, this is because she's white. Now, I'm not a WNBA fan, but I've paid close enough attention to know she's not the first white star nor superstar in that league. You know what I mean? Because there was a lady, Sabrina Ionesco, who had her own shoe deal and all these things, played in the 3-point contest against Steph Curry, all these things, All-Star Weekend. Like it's been plenty of stars, like big time stars that have had the ability to be marketable. I just think the fact that this young lady's style of play, the fact that she shoots threes from anywhere on the court, and that she's kind of brash, she talks a little noise, she taunts people,
she's
all those
very
type
competitive.
of things. Yeah, those things all at the same time have kind of made her. And then she's not, which this typically is not a winning formula, but she's not somebody that's being sexualized. Like, you don't see many people talking about how beautiful she is, right?
Right.
And I think that has, all those things together
has helped her.
All those things is a perfect storm, perfect connection to take her to where she is now. And I think the people who downplay her are crazy. And I think the people who thought she was going to come into the league and just dominate these long-time vets in the league and the Asia Wilsons of the world who are, monsters in the WNBA. I just think anybody, unless you're somewhere in the middle, you're crazy. If you thought she was just going to come into the league and just dominate everybody and score 30, 40 points a game.
There's a learning curve involved.
Right. And if you thought if you're downplaying how good she is, I mean, she's the all-time leading scorer in college basketball history, men and women. Like, that's
she's cold now.
Like, she's cold.
You can't deny the
stop acting
facts.
like she's not good. You know what I mean?
Do you think that the ladies have been gunning for her in these games?
I believe there are situations where that is happening, but I think that's a very small minority. I think there are a lot of ladies who understand, whether I like the way she's being handled or treated by the media or not, they understand the impact that she has on their league in general. And I think they look at her as another great player. Yeah. But if you talk to people who know the WNBA, they'll tell you, like, dude, the WNBA is rough as shit. Like, these girls, like, this ain't the NBA, bro. These ladies play hard as hell.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
They going in.
And a lot of the rules that are made for TV with the NBA, those rules don't exist in the WNBA. You know what I mean? So, because their game is more of a finesse game anyway, where it's more skilled than, because there are a lot of ladies in the WNBA that could actually play the fundamental game of basketball better than the guys.
Have you ever been to a WNBA game?
No, and I've never even watched one all the way through. Like, I watched pieces of it. I can't. That's just kind of part of my just lack of attention span. Like, I can't. I don't watch I don't watch every NBA game.
But you've been looking at these NBA finals.
Nah, I ain't watching them all the way through. I promise you. I will watch every game, but I won't watch them all the way through. Like, I'll get distracted and be on something else. Like, I know this gonna happen. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and do anything for two and a half hours. I feel like if I'm doing anything for longer than an hour, I need to clock in.
That attention span
like
just not there.
Anything I do for longer than an hour, I gotta be able to write it off.
Give me 3 words to describe Angel Reese.
Oh man, same thing. Phenomenal player. Phenomenal, marketable, and these are like 3. She's a work in progress. Like, she's like untapped. Like, you can tell there's a lot more to her game.
Oh yeah,
what she has right now. So yeah, but like, the thing with her is, if we're talking about marketability, right? Like, Caitlin Clark is like super marketable. Like, we get that. Angel Reese should be at least a more marketable player than her. Like, all the Bayou Barbie stuff, the lashes,
all of it.
Now, depending on who you're trying to market to, you know what I mean? So, like, you know what I mean? Because I think a lot of that stuff turns off a certain demographic of people. But me personally, I'm here for all the Angel Reese stuff, like, for sure. Like, her and Asia Wilson. Like, Asia Wilson came out with that silver hair. It was all kind of.
But Angel has been sexualized.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, because people are like kind of giving her crap because they're like, well, she's saying stop sexualizing me, but then she comes out with this song, and I don't really know where I stand on that. I don't really care about none of that. Because I heard this dude make a comment one time, and I was like, dude, like, come on, man. He's like, man, he said, I love how the WNBA is infusing more beautiful women into their product. I'm like, bro, like,
that's the truth.
This ain't wrestling though. No, it's not the truth. Like,
they are,
but they're not intentionally seeking.
Femininity is on another level.
No, that's happening, but it's not that the WNBA is like.
Oh, that is
so
like.
Let me go find some pretty girls.
Oh, you're right about that. You're right about that.
Yeah, it's like they just. Yeah. You know.
I got you.
The sport is just growing, like, and that
it is.
When you include more women, you're going to include more beautiful women. So that's just kind of how it works.
And at the end of the day, you know, for the WNBA, for those ladies to get the kind of pay they want, they have to bring in the viewers. Yeah. It's all about viewership. I mean, the guys do the
same thing.
Marketing.
Yeah.
Viewership.
The guys are wearing these companies' weird ass clothes, and you know.
Yeah, you know, now we can see the guys coming down the tunnel before the games and stuff. It used to not be like that.
No, these guys.
Everything is for show now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a runway for sure.
So who do you have for the NBA Finals? Who you tapping into?
I'm a Jason Tatum guy. If I weren't a mega Grizzlies fan, I'd be a Boston fan just because of Jason Tatum. I love him. I love Jaylen Brown. Mm-hmm. I love Jaylen Brown, the activist, probably more than the basketball player. The things that he's passionate about, I really love all that. I got them. I hate that because I would. If Luka Doncic didn't play for Dallas, I'd be pulling for Dallas too. I ain't gonna lie because I'm a big
Luka cold.
Oh, he cold as hell. Like it's undeniable. Oh, if you want to see some mad white people, boy, go back and find my tweets before Luka Doncic got drafted.
See, you something serious with them Twitter fingers over here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because when Luka Doncic was about to be a rookie, I was like. I basically had the energy like, white people, we know why y'all pulling for Luka. Like, stop acting like you became some international basketball scout all of a sudden. Like, we know, like, y'all done been found this boy in the motherland, and now y'all acting like you Luka Doncic fans. We get it. I mean, and they would, no, why would make you say that? And like, oh, okay, all right. Wow. So, you know what I mean? So, but like, Luka's incredible. Like, he is probably one of the best players in the league, hands down. But and I'm pulling for my boy Kyrie for sure. But I'm a Boston guy. I want to see Tatum and Brown get that championship, because the thing about today in like modern sports is that this ring conversation like dominates so much
Kyrie?
stuff, right? Well, no, just I'm talking about Boston. Like, people are talking about breaking that team up because they hadn't won a championship. I'm like, dude, these guys are the same age that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were when they won their first championship. But y'all were talking about breaking them up 2 and 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, what if we said, oh man, Jordan and Pippen can't get it done, let's break them up. Detroit keeps putting them out the playoffs, right? Like, come on, man. Like, this is not how the NBA works. Stockton and Malone play together for 20 freaking years and never win no championship. And the discussion of breaking them up never happened. You know what I mean? But today we just have these strange conversations about breaking up these great teams. And I want to see Boston win, just to get those conversations out of the way for sure. My
10-year-old is a huge Boston Celtics
fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love Tatum. My son loves Tatum too. He likes Tatum, Giannis. Talking about non-Grizzly guys, Tatum, Giannis. Somebody else he likes, I can't think, but yeah.
What's up with the Grizzlies? What do you think the new season is going to look like?
We're gonna be right back where we were a couple years ago, top of the West.
You think so?
For sure. We got better. Like you found two guys in Vince Williams and Gigi Jackson that you didn't think were going to be anything. About. Those dudes are good. Like, those are the type of guys that are good in the playoffs. They're, in between that 6'5", 6'9" range, can dribble, pass, and shoot, defend. Those kind of guys come up big in the playoffs, especially when you got a guy like Gigi Jackson, who's the youngest player in the NBA, 19 years old, doing the things he's done, getting praise from everybody, whether it's LeBron, Chris Paul, Paul George, all these guys are just, singing praises about him. Shaq, all these dudes are like, yeah, that dude's got it. Well, you got some of the greatest players of all time saying that, you've got something here in that kid. And, I think we'll see, the next wave or next level, what that looks like next year with him.
I hope so, because, they're saying that Ja Morant is no longer the face of the NBA. It's Anthony Edwards. What are you forecasting for Ja?
I'm glad you asked that question. Let's the whole face of the league conversation is absolutely stupid, because we're in, it's too, like we talked about radio and how radio is phasing, and then you got other ways of, back in the day, if you wanted to hear sports talk, you cut on the radio. That was your only avenue, right? So you were at the mercy of 3 or 4 people in your city, because you couldn't even listen to radio outside of your city, right? So you're at the mercy of these 3 or 4 people in your city that did everything. Same with news, same with newspaper, right? It's 2024. Like, when I was a kid, when we were about the same age. When we were kids, if you watched the NBA, you had the Chicago Bulls on WGN, you had the Atlanta Hawks on TBS, and you had whatever games were on ESPN or maybe on TNT, right? So you saw about 8 teams a year, right? So those were the teams you had to choose from. And then at that time, when it was a very small way of watching games or just having access to the NBA at all, you were at the mercy of who they said the face of the league was. I can be in Des Moines, Iowa, and decide I want to be an Orlando Magic fan, and I can have a customized experience where I can watch every Orlando Magic game sitting in my house. Never visit Orlando, never go, and that's my NBA. And if I say that this guy that plays for Orlando is my face of the league, that's my face of the league. We don't need the league to tell us who the face of the league is.
It's all relative.
It's such a customized experience now that whole conversation is so ridiculous. And if you do want to have that conversation to say, yes, there are guys that will be the face of the league, it ain't just going to be one. Yeah. It's a lot of dudes. And Ja Morant is one of those guys. Like, Ja Morant played 9 basketball games this season. And and he was number 9, and he was top 10 in jersey sales in a season that he only played 9 games. And his shoes sell like they're free. You know what I mean? Like, and this is what a dude that played 9 games. Like, do you think that dude's not gonna be in that conversation? I mean, come on. Like, that's
do you think Ja is gonna be the comeback kid?
Yes, Ja's gonna go crazy next year.
I want him to go crazy.
Ja's gonna lose his mind. He's like I like this whole, you know, the Kendrick Lamar Drake rap battle thing.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like, Ja is that, like, I'm a fan of Drake. I'm a fan of Kendrick Lamar too, right? But my number one criticism of Kendrick Lamar is, dude, you don't make enough music. Like, you'll drop an album, like,
but the quality of it.
I ain't gonna say it either because that last album was not good. All right, so, but the point I'm trying to make is,
Good Kid, Mad City.
Right, but this is the point I'm trying to make. Like, you will disappear for years, bro, and we don't see you. And so, because you out of sight, you get out of mind. And when we started talking about, like, who's doing this, oh, it's this person, this person, this person, and we forget about Kendrick Lamar, right? But when the Boogeyman came back this summer, it's like, oh yeah, we forgot. Like, then this whole feud is brought out of sight of him. This dude, Kendrick Lamar, something he was never known for was making, like, commercially sound hit songs. He dropped two number 1 songs in the nation this summer.
They Not Like Us. They Not Like Us.
And that I forgot about this because the dudes threw 10 songs at each other.
The Grams.
No,
not the Grams.
No, the song with Kendrick Lamar and Future.
I know what you're talking about.
That one. Yeah. Like that. Number 1 song in the country.
Yeah.
And They Not Like Us. Number 1 song in the country. Like, Kendrick Lamar had like maybe 1 number 1 before all that. He dropped 2 this summer.
Yeah.
When he was mad, you know what I mean?
But it's still a blessing to be relevant where you can pop out.
Right,
when
that's the point I'm making about Ja. Like, people forgot about Ja. People forgot about Ja Morant. And he's going to show people next year, you know, why he was the dude they were saying is the face of the league. And I think that if companies like Nike and Adidas are smart, which they are, they should get behind this.
Do you think he'll stay with Memphis?
Who?
Ja.
Yeah, Ja ain't going nowhere. Like, yeah.
What does contract look like? How long is he supposed to be here?
He just started his new contract. I want to say it's at least 4 or 5 years on it. Just the way the NBA is now, it's harder. A guy has to really step out on a limb to leave a team, like, because no team can pay you more than your home team, the team that you're currently on. Nobody can pay you more than them. And like that's another thing too. You about to trigger me when you ask them type of questions. like this is what people have to stop doing. Because I had these conversations with people who are like Laker fans on Twitter, right? And people like, well, you know, Ant Edwards gonna come to Minnesota. I mean, he gonna come to the Lakers. They always gonna go to a big market. Okay, show me that. Like, show me when that's happened in the last 10 years. Other than guys who are from LA, which is Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. They're from LA. They went home, and they didn't go to the Lakers. They went to the Clippers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
LeBron went there to make movies. LeBron is a generational monster when it comes down to being on the court, off the court personality. He's got a film production company, right? Shaq was the same way. Who else has went to the Lakers, dude? Like, nobody. Who else has went there?
It's not that major franchise like it used to be.
You can be. The thing is now, is that those markets back then were also the powerful markets, but they never were the smart markets. You understand what I'm saying? You have smart GMs in small markets now who are able to actually build teams and make the smart decisions to keep talent around these guys.
So we have a smart GM with the Grizzlies.
Here's the thing. This is why I tell people, this is why I ask people on Twitter all the time, and it ends all these leave for big market conversations, right? All right, okay. I say, Cole. So according to your logic, the Lakers have been bad every year outside of when LeBron came back. LeBron came up there a few years ago, right? The years before that, they were bad. And when LeBron leaves, y'all gonna be bad again. You're telling me that Anthony Edwards, who just took a team to the conference finals, Ja Morant, whose team has been number 2 in the West the last 2 years, gonna be another one of the top teams in the West. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who plays for one of the top teams in the West, playing in Oklahoma City. They're going to leave a good team with a stable franchise and guys they've been playing with forever to go to L.A. because of L.A. You tell me they're going to go backwards. LA. Right. Now, guys were always leaving in the past to win, and they were going to markets where there were good players at. These dudes want to win basketball.
Everything has shifted.
Like, you don't have to live in, like we talked about earlier, you don't have to be in New York to have a big name for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't have to be in LA to get a big name for yourself. You can play in a small market and be a star in the NBA.
Yeah. So many things have changed.
Anthony Edwards plays in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right, and he's the face.
And they're saying he's the face of the NBA.
They say he's the face.
And his shoes sell like hotcakes. John Morant plays in Memphis, Tennessee, home of the Blues. His shoes sell like hotcakes. You don't have to be like the New York Knicks. The best version of the New York Knicks we've seen is them having making smart GM decisions and not, we swinging for the stars. We got to get LeBron. No, they went and got Jalen Brunson, who's a backup guard in Dallas, and he's the best player they've had in 10, 15 years.
Smart GM decisions. That's
the future of the NBA. Big markets aren't moving anybody. Nobody goes to Chicago. Nobody goes to Atlanta. Yeah. No free agents go to New York.
They're not what they used to be, though.
KD and Kyrie Irving went to Brooklyn. They didn't go to the New York Knicks. All these classic teams. Nobody even goes to Boston. Boston's good because of what? A smart GM. Right. Who made smart decisions and built a great team. Dallas, same thing. They made smart trades. And they're building a smart organization. People aren't going to teams because of the city, except for Miami. Black men with money, they still going to Miami.
They still going to Miami. They still living in Miami. Now let's talk about this. We've talked about the WNBA, the NBA. I want to talk about college sports because so much has changed with these new NCAA rules where they are actually paying players a salary to come and play. Now this is even different from the updates we've seen with NIL deals. Like, what is going on? How would that? I guess in the past you had to get a full ride scholarship to come, but that came with restrictions, right? Yeah. So now, you're gonna. What would entice me to even go to the NBA at this point? Like, you paying me to come to the NCAA? Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Okay, you're saying like if I'm a college player, why would I go to the NBA, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if one thing is not nearly the amount of money.
So how do you know what the money looks like? Have they already made these announcements?
It can't be.
So what will it be?
It'll be.
Do we know?
I don't know. I doubt it will be. Here's my thing. I don't know a lot about this NCAA thing, but the way that it reads to me is controlling these boys' money all over again.
Oh my God. So this is not a good move.
I don't think it is. For the players, it is. I think for the lesser players, but the top guys, I think you're capping them out again because if I'm player X and I'm Shedeur Sanders, right? Mm-hmm. And I can go get a $10 million deal with whoever, right? Or somebody's going to give me $10 million just to go to college. Just to be Shedeur Sanders, right? Okay. That college isn't going to give me that. Like, that's the thing, too. So I think what they're trying to do, I think this is ultimately going to kill two birds in one stone because there are two, quote-unquote, problems in college sports, and that's these kids making money and also the transfer portal. Teams are going from team to team, like it's free agency every summer. And I think that when they get these deals, it's going to be contractual. Like you got to stay at a school. Because I'm wondering
how these things will coexist.
Yeah, it's getting wild. Like I said, man, it was wild back when these kids weren't making nothing, and these people were billionaires off of these kids' names. When you could go into a school's team shop and buy a Reggie Bush jersey, and Reggie Bush don't make a penny off of it. Like that was wild. You know what I mean? So. Yeah. I just think the fact that these kids have the power and they have the money now, this is something else that's going to just restrict what they can do. I mean, I think we should end the illusion of pretending that college sports is amateur. That ended a long time ago.
Long time ago. I was so shocked when they started approving the NIL deals.
Yeah, and that's kind of crazy. Like, the NIL thing, I ain't going to lie, it is wild because these kids don't have NIL deals. Like, it's not like they're doing commercials. These kids are being... with most cases, there's a collective that is paying out money to these kids, and the kids' publicity or their endorsement is endorsing the collective that pays it. Like they're not actually like selling the product. Like you don't see like kids getting deals at.
But are they getting a auto check?
Shop. But that's the thing too. Like there's been stories about kids that aren't getting their money. You're getting NIL promises, but they're not getting paid. So I think that could be a benefit to NCAA just paying these boys, but they should have been doing that. Our entire lifetime, you know what I mean? So, but we'll see how that works out. It feels like something that they're doing to kind of control these boys' money or kind of cap what they're making. So we'll see how that works.
Okay, you got to keep me posted on that, Mr. Sain. Now we're going to jump into a segment called This or That.
All right, let's get it.
I'm going to give you two things. You're going to tell me which one you prefer and why. Okay? Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese?
Oh, Angel Reese.
Why?
I just think she's entertaining. Like, that's another thing about Caitlin Clark too that kills me too. Like, she's trying to play innocent in all this. Like Caitlin Clark, you are one of the most shit talking.
It's a ruse.
Right, you're the most shit talking individuals in the world. You talk shit. You out there doing a little slick, dirty stuff, and then when they putting you on your ass, then you want to cry wolf. You know what I mean?
They clothesline it.
Yeah, I just think Angel Reese is. I just love her personality for sure.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharpe?
I like Shannon Sharpe's versatility more. Like when he does his late night show, that's pretty dope. If there was a neither option, I'd probably choose that as well. But when Stephen A. Smith does his off the grid show, his late night show or whatever, it's not as good as Shannon and Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah, that's a good collab.
And then just the Shannon Sharpe show is more entertaining as well. And they both are extremely annoying to me. But like I think I like Shannon better.
But like something you mentioned, you don't see a lot of black men commentating on sports unless they were former athletes. Just to hear Shannon Sharpe's story about all of these demands they had on him.
Yeah, then they treat him like he's not the pro athlete.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
That was so interesting to me.
Yep.
Okay. NBA or WNBA?
Oh, NBA. NBA has been me in the NBA for all my life. Like,
it's hard to let go.
Yeah, I mean the WNBA is a great product, but no, it'll never pass the NBA in my eyes. Okay.
Now this is more Memphis centered. Jason or John?
Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm glad you said it. Jason Smith is a personal mentor of mine. Like we're like legit good friends. Like our kids are good friends. Like he's one of the people that helped open some doors for me when it comes down to stuff like this. Like my first time co-hosting. Well, first I was a guest on the Jason and John show. That was the first show on mainstream radio that I was doing in Memphis, and then that turned into guest hosting on their show, and that turned into hosting on a much lesser station. I parlayed those things into each other, and that was because of my relationship with Jason Smith. Now, John, my guy now, but Jason is literally like a brother to me. For sure.
They are verbally effective alum. I enjoy both of them. They're two different people.
Oh yeah, Jason is the man. Like there are two people in the city of Memphis that I think are great orators that do radio and podcasts. And
Definitely.
I think that Jason Smith and Gary Parrish is the other one. Those are the two best.
I love Gary Parrish.
Yeah, those are the two best orators in the city of Memphis to me. Orators, whatever you want to call it. I might be saying it wrong, but yeah, y'all get what I'm trying to say. Those are the two best.
Orators.
Orators. They're the two best.
Anthony Sain, you on that list too now.
Oh, thank you, friend. I'm trying to get there for sure.
And I have truly enjoyed you today on the Verbally Effective Podcast. We could talk all day, but I'm going to come on your show.
Yeah, come on
next to hang out. But I do want you to advise the Verbally Effective audience on how they can continue to follow your journey.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Participate in the Asylum Media Group as well.
Yeah, that's kind of exclusive. That's kind of like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Handpicking?
Yeah, I go get my people for that I want. I've had a couple people that reached out that I said but I pretty much knew who they were. Like because I can only deal with so many at a time. Like I can't, because I actually try to advocate for these people. Like it's not just me saying you're a part of something. I want you to actually feel like you're a part of something. So I don't spread that out too thin. Twitter, you can find me at Sain Asylum, SAIN, just like rain, pain, brain, but Sain Asylum, ASYLUM. Anthony Sain Show, of course, on YouTube. Asylum Media Group, we got social media, but it's not really active. But you can
exclusive.
Yeah, But shout out to them. Like I said, they're all doing well. I'm trying to put together a women's sports show. A show that's hosted by two women. Trying to get that going because they need a voice.
And when is that popping off?
I don't know. I gotta get them to. I gotta sit them down. They kind of hard to keep still. So it's hard to track them down. They're too busy women.
Okay. Any final words for the Verbally Effective audience before we part ways?
I love what you're doing. Love what you've been doing for a long time. Shout out to all the independents out there. I ain't mad at you going back to get that check though. I ain't mad. Get that money.
You gotta leverage it all.
Yeah, you gotta get that money for sure. Because I definitely have a day job. Trust me. It's not in this field, but I definitely do have a day job. So I get it. But power to the podcasters out there. And if y'all think I'm coming to y'all event that y'all ain't never know, I'm not.
You coming. Anthony Sain will be at the next Pod Box, ladies and gentlemen, for June and And he will be featured at the festival in September as well.
We'll see.
I want to thank you so much, host of the Anthony Sain Show with Bluff City Media and the founder of Asylum Media Group. My guest today, Anthony Sain. He was indeed a pleasure on the Verbally Effective podcast. I want you guys to hit that subscribe, that follow button on all social media platforms, that Ina Esco YouTube channel as well. And I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in.